What's up, Pallards? It's your god, Lightwater here, coming at you with another video. And today I'm just going to be kind of rambling about some stuff. I guess these will kind of just be like me just randomly talking, so if you don't like these, I completely understand. I just thought maybe I'd give it a shot, and we'll see if people are generally interested in some opinions I have. So, just to catch you guys up, we're 5 out of 8 Mythic, so that's going pretty well. It's not the best right now. I understand we're pretty far behind the rest of the world, and we're not really like a super try-hard raiding guild, but I'm pretty displeased so far with how everything has been going. All in all, I feel like my ability to carry this expansion is way lower than any other expansion. Typically, I feel like I have a pretty strong impact as a healer, and if I do well and I get my stat weights right and I have a good build and a good strategy, I can generally make up for a lot of mistakes. This expansion, not so much. It just feels like it's a lot of individual responsibility, and if they fuck up, it's a one-shot. You can't save them. So, as a healer, I'm a bit frustrated, but things have been getting a little bit better. I've kind of taken a little bit of a break from the game, as I'm sure you guys can tell. Generally, I feel like the community and myself are pretty frustrated with the current state of the game, and I think this is reflected a lot if you guys if any of you guys watch Asmongold's stream or a classic cast. It's like I feel like the community is generally divided. Like, essentially, it's a bunch of us that are waiting for classic to come out. There's a bunch of us that want the current version of the game to get better. You know, I find myself agreeing with almost everything Asmongold was saying today. And I usually pride myself on being able to disagree with a few things he has to say, just because, you know, you don't want to agree with somebody on everything. But yeah, I mean, the game's not in the best state right now, and I would say the biggest culprit is probably Azerite gear. I think that could add to a lot of frustrations, and if it got better, it would make the game so much more interesting. I feel like my ability to theorycraft and come up with unique builds and do off-meta shit and just come out and put some ridiculous parses up are just not there. I feel like the class balance is not there either. Disc priests are like twice as strong as they should be for no reason. They're a hybrid class that does damage. They should be the lowest healer, but they're by far the top healer and the highest skill. So that's not good. What's going right? Well, Restager is a lot of fun in Mythic Plus, and I've been having a lot of fun doing Mythic Plus. I thought about even maybe doing like MDI, because I can heal 13, 14s like really well, 15s no problem. I actually can do like 8k damage quite often on lots of trash pools as a healer, which I find pretty cool. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing too crazy. I kind of toned down on like working on alts. I did level up a shaman. I played him a little bit. Shamans did get some buffs recently. Rest of shaman's not as bad as it used to. They actually have some really good fights, so shaman's doing a lot better. It just feels like the game is slowly becoming what we expected it to be in beta. Like, I feel like we've almost achieved beta status. We were in alpha. It was battle for alpha. Now it's battle for beta. And hopefully, maybe in a couple months, it'll be Battle for Azeroth. But it's not Battle for Azeroth right now. Anyways, I kind of want to talk about something that's actually kind of near and dear to my heart, and that's classic World of Warcraft. That's when I did start playing the game, although I didn't have a good enough computer and a good enough internet connection, so even though I owned my own account, and I paid for $15 a month, I can only play it like once or twice a month. And I was at my sister's house, but I love the game so much that I still did that. But yeah, I was watching Classic Cast, and for those of you guys who don't know, it's a show that's put on by Tips Out, Stay Safe, and I think SFan. It's all a bunch of like classic World of Warcraft people. I've actually been really liking their content. They seem like really genuine, good people, and they just want to play Classic, and I can kind of respect that. And the most interesting thing they do is they bring on old game developers that helped make WoW. And I've noticed something. All of these old game developers are really well-rounded people. Like, they're really down-to-earth, passionate, I guess genuine. I mean, like, genuine's, so it's just not the right word for it. It's like there's a spark. They have something that it just seems like we don't see. And maybe it's like the game developers nowadays are just burnt out, but it just seems like they hate us. Like, it seems like those game developers from back in the day, they genuinely loved the game, and they knew what was right for the players, but it just feels like the game developers now just hate us. Like, they actually just don't like us. It's very bizarre. But I mean, I just found myself, like, getting so, like, giddy listening to this guy talk about vanilla, and I have a couple of notes here. I'll briefly go over them, but some of the things that I thought were interesting. Like, you know, when you're taking notes to make a video later, it's kind of interesting, right? Like, so they toyed around with a lot of interesting concepts, and like, they weren't afraid to just do whatever they wanted. Like, their initial vision was to have Voidwalkers, you know, Warlock's pets, be able to tank 5-mans. Like, what? Imagine that now today. That's insane. That's insane. People would riot. Like, the game's almost dug itself into too much of a... It's entrenched itself in its own systems, you know? I don't even know if that'd be possible today. They talked about the population of servers back in vanilla. And the original goal was to only have 2,000 people on the server. And while they could easily do more, even with the technology they had back then, they felt like it was important to have it low enough population to where you only ran into about a couple people when you were questing. So it was sort of rare, and then you wanted to work together with them. It was an interesting concept. It was like, you know, you're supposed to be this rare adventure, and if everybody's always around you and there's all these other people, then you're not exactly that special anymore. I thought that was kind of interesting, that they intentionally lowered the number of people out on the server to increase one's personal experience and to sort of make you feel better when you actually did play with friends, because it was more of a rare occurrence. That's just like some weird stuff that there's no way people would think about today. What else? They wanted all the tanks to be drastically different, even if that meant some of them weren't playable. I thought that was interesting. Very, very different than what we have today, right? I'm not exactly sure if I can get behind that for the current version of World of Warcraft. However, I do think all the tanks should be a lot different. Right now, the tanks are kind of have a little bit of variety, more than healers, but ultimately, I don't feel like they have enough of a niche. I feel like they all do too much sustain. I feel like they all have their cooldowns are way too big. I think there should be like a cooldown tank. I think there should just be a meat tank, like just a giant wall of health. That probably should be the bear. I think there should be one tank who heals, probably the Blood Death Knight. I guess Paladin could also heal, but I think the Paladin should be the cooldown tank. I think Warriors should be all about blocking, and their tankiness should go up the more damage they're taking. So, you know, like, they want to live on a knife's edge, so to speak, because if they don't get enough rage, then they can't actively push the button fast enough. So that would be interesting. It would be interesting seeing a tank get squishier the less things that are hitting it, the less damage it's taking. I think that'd be an interesting concept. Like, he's like, I gotta keep pulling or else I'll die. That would be interesting, right? I don't know. Just some interesting stuff to think about. But it's just the design philosophy now. We're all so cookie cutter because we all have to be so balanced, right? It's all about balance. Whereas back in the day, it was about uniqueness. Okay. So the idea that they didn't want to make Nax accessible to everybody in order to preserve the prestigiousness of it. So essentially they said like only like 1% ever got to like go into Nax, right? But essentially they believed that was a good thing because it had what was called a trickle-down effect. So, you know, maybe your friend's friend rated the Nax, and that really made you want to go, you know? And maybe that was the whole reason why you even went into Molten Core and maybe a bunch of other raids. Maybe you didn't even make it there, but it's the whole reason why you even wanted to try, right? So maybe you didn't make it to, you know, the 10 out of 10 hard stuff, but you got to do, you know, maybe like some of the 7, 8, and 9 stuff that you would have never done otherwise. And it's all about giving the players a clear vision of what they could work towards. And I thought that was interesting. Like, what in the game could I work towards right now? I'm not inspired to do shit. Honestly, there's nothing that I couldn't theoretically do. I guess there's a couple more bosses that we need to kill on Mythic, but I'm not that inspired to go do it. And even if I do kill it, I can't brag. No one would care. Literally no one cares if I kill Mythic right now. Whereas like, if you killed Nax back in the day, you're a goddamn war hero. You know? The prestigiousness is just gone. Even though it's harder. It's actually harder raiding today. But it just was more time consuming back in the day. It was more difficult. People had worse computers. People had, you know, just all kinds of issues back then, right? Let's see. Oh, interesting thing. This is kind of cool. They were really supportive of players trying to come up with creative ways to break the environment. Like taking advantage of bugs and getting into places that they weren't supposed to be. Not only did they not think it was a bannable offense, but the person they were talking to today thought it was cool. He literally said it. He thinks it's cool when players find things. Like, he thought the rep bombing one-shotting the boss was a cool thing. Today, you could literally get banned for that shit. Like, if you were to do anything that the game deems, you know, exploiting, you're at risk of getting banned. They have a zero tolerance for that shit nowadays. Guilds are so scared that even in the world first race, they'll wait rather than exploit a bug to get confirmation from an employee if they're even allowed to do it, or if it even is a bug in the first place. It's like they have us scared when we should be actively, passionately trying to take advantage of everything we can in this game. And, you know, it should be the kind of thing where Blizzard laughs it off and fixes it. But it's not like that anymore. But that was the mentality it was. Like, what changed? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I took notes on. Just some things I thought were interesting. Just completely 180, like 180 thought process, completely different. Anyways, guys, I'm looking forward to 8.1. I hope that the new changes to Azerite will be good. They're gonna add another ring, and it's gonna have 2 spec choices, which will hopefully be a little bit better instead of just like what we have 1 now. Whatever. Hopefully there'll be some cool builds we can do. Essentially, we'll have 6 points in our Azerite to be able to, you know, put it around. I don't like how we automatically have to basically run one of the pieces as the raid piece so we can get the passive bonus on our secondary stat, and then that basically only leaves us for 2. Most classes have to get 1 Azerite power, like rampant growth or something, or, you know, some kind of Azerite trait just to check a box, and then what, you're left with 1 piece to pick, 1 piece to customize. So hopefully that fixes Azerite gear. Maybe that'll kind of reignite the passion that I had for this game. I mean, I remember I used to go to work after raid night and I'd be so pumped, you know. I had chugged a bunch of Mountain Dew, heart was racing, we killed the boss, I saw my rank 1 parse. You know, I used to get so passionate, and I would just sit there in my, you know, I work overnight basically as like a security guard. And I would sit there and I'd do math and I'd do math and I'd do math to try to get better. I would study things, I'd look up as much as I could. You know, like, even though I'd go through probably 20,000 guides that were worse than my own that I could possibly make, I'd still read them just to see if they knew something I didn't. I haven't looked up a single guide. I have not been inspired at all. I did the math and then I kind of just stopped. Like, my parses are not rank 1. I'm not performing as best as I could be, and I'm honestly just kind of focusing on being a healing officer and just trying to do the mechanics, but I don't feel inspired. I do like 100% overhealing as it is. What, am I just going to go do more overhealing? It just feels like a waste, honestly. I'm really hoping that 8.1 is a lot better. Maybe I can do some more customization. Maybe there's some cool builds I can do, some cheesy stuff, who knows, some off-meta stuff. Maybe I'll switch my mains. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, I'm kind of a little bit happier than I was before. Been doing a lot of Mythic Plus, kind of enjoying that, just kind of chilling out, waiting for the next raid. You know, we've dropped down to 3 nights a week. So yeah, things are better. Thanks for listening. Hopefully I'll have some more interesting content for you. Hopefully I'll feel inspired and maybe finish the theory crafting videos. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Lightwater, and let's make healing great again.